Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic.
detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Farmers Day edition of Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop, in Adabraka, in Accra. My name is Salom Adunu. Tonight I'm here with
Akusia Otre.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes.
The House calls on and urges the Minister of Education to reconsider the directive by the Minister of Education to students and authorities to resume academic work on Monday, 4th December 2023.
Parliament directs Ministry of Education to reconsider reopening date for Form 1 or Form 1 SHS students slated for Monday, December 4. But Education Ministry seems adamant, as it says it will be costly to reschedule the reopening date. We'll tell you more on this later in the show. And tomorrow, the New Patriotic Party goes to the poll to elect its parliamentary candidates for constituencies without sitting MPs.
The party is set to have this all-important special delegate conference conducted in these constituencies. We do not have certain members of parliament. The exercise will start in the morning.
So we'll tell you more on that. Also in the news, as Ghana celebrates its Farmers Today, Greater Accra Regional Minister charges farmers to desist from abusing fertilizers and other chemicals to facilitate the growth of their crops. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
International Monetary Fund shoots down claims release of the second tranche of Ghana's $3 billion bailout package has stalled.
There is more business in the next 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and across the country at City, across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citynewsroom.com. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line 05499869996, and you can follow me on Twitter at Selom Adunu. The hashtag, as always, is City Newsroom. Akosia gives us our first story.
Yes, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has urged the Ministry of Education to reconsider its decision for fresh students to report to school on Monday, December 4, 2023. Now, the date, which is for both single and double track students, was contained in the 2023-2024 academic calendar for pre-tertiary institutions in the country released by the Ghana Education Service. Addressing the House yesterday in Parliament, the Speaker admonished the Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum, to consider the first week of January 2024.
The attention of Parliament has been drawn to the sudden directive of the Ministry of Education for the resumption of academic year coming Monday, 4th December 2023. The House calls on and urges the Minister of Education to reconsider the directive by the Ministry of Education to students and authorities, including teaching and non-teaching staff, to resume academic work on Monday, 4th December 2023. The House proposes for the consideration of the Ministry the first week of January 2023 for the resumption of academic work in these schools. The Minister of Education is directed to thereafter report to brief the House on Monday, 4th December 2023 on the matter. The House further calls on parents, teachers, non-teaching staff, and students to keep calm until the matter is resolved by the House. Definitely, I agree with you that if they are to report Monday, they will have to use 1 week for the usual orientation. Then another week to try to start, and you have to go at least for Christmas break. That definitely, I don't think they will intend to keep the students during the Christmas Yuletide period. They'll have to go back to these houses. And so if we just wait until the first week of January, where we can start these things and give enough room for parents and the students themselves, plus the teaching and non-teaching staff to site up, prepare for the schools and the students, I think that would be appropriate in the circumstances in which we are. So this is just the draft I expect.
Alban Sumana Bagbing is Speaker of Parliament.
And Kwesi Kwarteng speaks for the Education Ministry. He joins me on the line for the Education Ministry's response or reaction to this statement coming from the office or from the Parliamentary Service of Ghana. Kwesi, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Happy Farmers Day to you. I don't know if you do some farming, but nonetheless, happy Farmers Day to you.
Yeah, good evening, Shalom, and thank you, and happy Farmers Day to you. I'm a farmer myself, engaged in the cultivation of coconuts, and so I'm in my village. I came for the celebration, and it's so far so good.
I see. That's great. So I'm sure very soon we may be considering you for district best farmers and things like that. But that's fine. So yes, Form 1 students are to report for school on Monday. A few things have been said here and there, but now we have the Speaker of Parliament coming in to say that he thinks that, or the Parliament thinks that the 4th December date appears too soon or sudden after the release of the placement results or the placement results, and so you should consider somewhere first week of January. And he cites the fact that we may not even have a lot of activity happening between now and Christmas. So coming in January afresh appears like a good proposition. What's the Education Ministry's position on this?
Yeah, thank you, Solomon, once again. Of course, we do agree as a ministry and concede that on the face value, it does appear that considering the time that placement results were released to the public space and the time that students may have to prepare and go to school, which is the 4th of December 2023, certainly it appears short. But I've always maintained that at every conversation, context is very important. And what is the context here? If you look at the fact that this year around, we have what we call the National Comprehensive Prospectus, which has been released also within the public space, and for the first time is also attached to the student placement slip. It cuts down the number of days that students ordinarily would have used to prepare for school. For instance, previously, students may have to travel, sometimes even outside their regions, to different regions, to their schools where they were placed, take their prospectus. After taking their prospectus, may have to travel back, buy their items, and then go back to school for registration. Of course, we are also mindful of the number of items on the list that translates also into, some high figures in terms of the cities that one may have to mobilize to purchase these items. This time around, there has been something novel. We've attached the prospectus, which is a comprehensive prospectus this time, to their placement slip. And what essentially means is that students do not have to travel to their schools to go and take the prospectus, travel back and come and buy the items on the prospectus. Again, parents will not have to look for huge sums of money. For instance, if you look at the prospectus for instance, day students, which is across board for all over 500,000 students that has been placed within the various 6 senior high schools, You do not need, for instance, an excess of say 300 cedis to acquire items on the prospectus. So the cumulative effect of the National Comprehensive Prospectus, the fact that you are attached to their placement slip, and the fact that you do not necessarily have to go to the school before you get it, cuts the number of days for preparation for almost about a week. Again, we should also be mindful that this academic calendar has always been within the public space for some time now. And that's, I'm referring to the 2023-2024 academic calendar. And the natural expectation was that parents, guardians, and students prepare even ahead of time. The Ministry of Education is again of the belief that, yes, our students have been in the house for some time now. So it is more prudent for them to report to school. Of course, reporting to school does not necessarily mean that you are going to, that instant on that 4th of December, begin serious academic exercise. But you have to go through registration process. Most of the schools, you have to go through orientation process. You have to acclimatize with the school conditions, the school environment, pick your books, and get really ready for academic exercise. I want to also emphasize that, yes, indeed, students are expected to report to school on the 4th of December, but students who are unable to report on the 4th of December do not necessarily lose their slots or the schools that they were placed. So yes, some can come on probably the subsequent day, some can come even other days. We've all been to school before. We open school, and as you have students even coming in the subsequent week. So the resumption date is not necessarily just like an event where every student must be there by all means, at all costs. Like we've seen previously. The strength and capacity of mobilization by various students and even parents differs. So yes, the reopening date remains 4th. We are concerned about the concerns that have been raised. They are valid. We concede them. But looking at the circumstance, the fact that we've introduced the national prospectus, which cuts the preparation time, the fact that the academic calendar has been in the system for that long, the fact that our students have been in the house for that long and they need to go through registration process, get ready, prepare for serious academic work, the Ministry of Education is of the belief that students have to report on Monday, the 4th of December. And I'm not sure it's an issue that really parents have complained, especially from us within the Ministry of Education. It's not really become an issue. Parents are indeed preparing to take their wards to school, and I'm hopeful that Monday, a lot of students will report to school. But if you are unable to report on the Monday, I'm sure subsequent days you can also report accordingly.
Yes, I think it's really an issue. That's why it came to the attention of Parliament, and the Speaker of all people will have had to pronounce on this. But the issue is, of course, the prospectus, the harmonized prospectus, has been in the system for some weeks now. But you know how things work. I mean, sometimes the list or the placement has to come before parents really will begin, allocating resources to that. It's not as if they have the resources sitting somewhere waiting for this purpose. Yes, it would have been ideal to start buying things, one by one till they have the full complement of it. And especially as not much will be done around this time, I'm not sure they are complaining that the children have been home for a long time. If we all start in January, so we go the full haul, I think that's the concern really. I'm not sure parents have complained that their students or children have been in the house for a bit too long. That just is a concern. But from as we speak, the ministry's view is that, notwithstanding the concerns, students should still report because, work must start.
Yeah, Salom, are you also aware that previously, when there were variations and differentiations in the prospectus that school assigns to students, there were some students who were even unable to pick up the admission. Some students have to pay as high as 5,000 Ghana cedis. And even there were some institutions that were more. This time around, because of the harmonized prospectus, which has been has a national significance and is across board within all schools, parents are almost buying ordinarily the items that they would have bought at a half price, because a lot of the items which we printed have been scrapped off the list. For instance, let me give you an instance. If you go to an institution like, say, Preset Lagos, where students were expected to, say, bring broom, say, canvas, and say, a hoe, this time around, instead of all the students taking the 3 items, we've divided the students into 3 groups, where each group is to present 1 item. So significantly, the cost value or the cumulative effect in terms of cost value that one may place on the prospectus has also reduced. And so in terms of parents struggling to raise money to really buy the prospectus, I mean, the story is not the same as it used to be. This time around, parents will even have to pay less because of the introduction of the harmonized prospectus. And based on that, we believe that adding that to the fact that students may not even have to travel to their school before they go and collect the prospectus back and forth, a lot of the preparation days have been cut. And that's why I want to emphasize again that the fact that you are expected to report on the 4th does not necessarily mean that if you do not report on the 4th, you are going to lose your slot. You are supposed to be there, pick your books, go through registration process, acclimatize, pick your school uniform, learn the school culture and everything, then fully get ready. I mean, bottom line is that whichever argument that any party may advance, it is more prudent for students to be in school at every point rather than they stay home. And I'm sure you agree with me.
I see. So maybe we'll leave it there, Kwesi. Thanks so much for speaking to us on this. Wish you the very best, and we'll be around on Monday to see. But your minister is due to be in Parliament on Monday to answer questions on all of these. I thought he would wait to see how that encounter goes before making the students go to school. But now, I mean, the instruction has been given, so the students will go to school. So he'll be there on Monday. And I'm sure he will go around to also see how things, are panning out in the schools.
Yes. The bag, draws or rests on the minister. But obviously, you have Ghana Education Service making a decision together with their council and even stakeholders within the education space. Obviously, if the speaker is making any advice, the minister will obviously appear. And at some point, I'm sure may also have to consult with the agencies for further decision making. But until then, the European it remains. Maybe after Monday, all consequential decisions will be taken. But for now, nothing has changed. The reporting is for the students who are unable to report on 4 or lose their slots. They can come the subsequent days, and academic exercise will proceed.
So you're saying consequential, directives could be given, but the students have to go to school on Monday, and minister will be in Parliament on Monday. And you're saying that if they don't go, they don't lose their slot. Yes.
Tell them if on Monday students are at school, what would be, the outcome of any decision that will come? It will be predictable. If on Monday students are in school, I'm not sure minister going to meet with Parliament will really change it. But of course, I do not want to usurp that process. That is beyond my pay scale. But so far as I'm concerned, the ministry's position is what I've espoused there. That 4th students are supposed to be in school, and like I indicated, it has always been more prudent for students to be in school rather than being in the house, and that is the position of the ministry.
And the ministry is not considering the fact that, Christmas is coming. Parents will be saddled with a lot of, expenditure, Christmas, etc. Soon after that, school reopens again. Now, students will be prepared to go to school. That's one cost. In January, they will have to go back. That's another cost.
The expenditure debate will not suffice here. Because at the end of the day, if your ward is in school, government is taking care of your ward morning, afternoon, evening. Compared to the word staying home, which one would any parent select if you are given the option? You are a parent. If you have a choice where government is feeding your child morning, afternoon, evening, providing textbooks, providing exercise books, providing clothing, any other thing, paying utilities bills, and that student being in the house, obviously not learning, not doing anything, in terms of making a choice as a parent, which one would you rather make as a parent?
I see. I'm not sure about the feeding bit, because some parents whose children are in school say they've had to supplement what the school gives them. But that's fine. I mean, we start from somewhere. But interestingly, a number of my messages I'm receiving or seeing on the console suggest that it's important for the ministry or GS to listen to the minister. So, for example, this one says that the Minister of Education must listen to the wisdom the parliamentarians have suggested. Going to school at Navrongo on 4th December from Accra and come back for Christmas is too dangerous and very expensive. The minister should listen and so they don't endanger the lives of the students from Kweku in Accra. Is this something?
You think when students, you think when students go to school in January, they won't still travel by road to Navrongo?
No, but the fact that they have to go again, and this is Christmas,
No, I'm asking you advance an argument about that. I'm saying that whichever day they go, you think their lives cannot be in danger. You see, I do not think we should reduce the whole conversation to that. Bottom line is that, like I indicated, whichever way students have to be in school, prepare steady rather than they being in the house. And I mean, the position is that it is more prudent. It is better for them to be in school, be taught by their teachers, and rather than being in the house.
All right. Thanks so much, Kwesi. Thank you so much. Kwesi Kwarteng speaks for the Ministry of Education. He was just bringing us up to speed on what the ministry or the GS actually think about the speaker's suggestion. I don't know if it's even a directive, but I think it's a suggestion for students due to report to school on 4th December so they rather go on first week in January. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's speak to the Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee of Parliament and MP for Bosa South, Clement Apak. Hello, Honorable. Good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News. The Education Ministry, through the spokesperson, is just telling us that it's the program is being set. Students are due to report to school on the 4th. Those who are unable to resume or to report, I should say, will not lose their spot. But it's important that they go to school, which is part of what they do. Do you have any particular? What's your particular concern with that? The speaker wants it rescheduled, but the plan has been set, and it appears rescheduling it will not be the way to go.
Well, let me say good evening to you and to our listeners, because I know your network is listened to in my constituency of Bosa South and in Bullock in general. First of all, I was in Parliament yesterday when the ranking member, my boss, sought permission from the Speaker to make an agent statement on what we consider to be a matter of national interest and of agency. It is very clear and simple. I've had the opportunity to listen in on the commentary rendered by the public relations officer of the ministry. Clearly, he's doing his job, so I don't fault him. He has every right to re-emphasize what he has been told to say, given the directive that was issued. Now, the concerns that we raised on the floor of Parliament yesterday are based on the same directive that was issued on the 28th of November, asking that students prepare to report in school on December the 4th, also announcing the fact that placements have been done. If one were to look at that directive issued on the 28th of December itself, you would notice that the directive actually points students and parents who may have challenges with placements to certain venues, and they have been given certain numbers to call and try to get those problems fixed. But the same directive also indicates that over 100,000 students were not placed by the computerized system. What that means is that these category of students would have to do what is called self-placement. So within the context of even the placement itself. There are still I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed, still outstanding. Now, some of the issues that parliamentarians canvassed, and you must recognize that we represent the people. So anytime there are matters that we bring to the floor of Parliament, we do so because Ghanaians and our constituents have drawn our attention to those issues as being crucial and urgent. The issues that came up, among many others, which convinced the Speaker of Parliament to give the instructions that he gave, included the fact that students were going to be reporting on December the 4th, and soon after would have to break again for Christmas, and then go back to school again to continue. We believe that that was not the best in terms of expending time and resources. And make no mistake, the issue of risk cannot be sidelined. I mean, the risk involved in traveling from Accra to Navasco and then back and then going again is much higher than just traveling from Accra to Nabrongo and then staying for an extended period for school to close, for you to return. So that risk is a factor that was considered. The other issue also had to do with the availability and the challenges that parents face in terms of resources. Now, I heard the PRO seek to speak about the fact that the harmonized prospectus were put in the public domain for some time, and therefore the expectation was that parents would have prepared. But it is one thing to advertise prospectus, but it is another thing for a parent to know that my ward has passed and my ward has been placed in school A, B, or C, which will then guide the needed resources to be mobilized and to prepare not just the student, but even also the parent. Because we are speaking about students who, for the first time, are going to go to schools outside their usual areas of knowledge and experience. So you cannot expect any parent to simply just buy items and put their ward. I mean, sometimes a 13, 14-year-old on a bus to go to a school located perhaps 100 kilometers from the community that is known to the parent and the student. So the issue of financial resources, especially in the current economy, and the travel needs of the parents who may then even have to apply to take time off work to shepherd their wards to the school also came up. Then there is the issue that the PRO conveniently refused to mention, which is that the teachers themselves and the teacher unions have also had cause to complain with regards to the timing of the reopening and the reporting of first-year students. They have also argued that for a very long time, both teaching and non-teaching staff, and I've said this many times, even including appearing on your show when you host the big issues on Saturdays, many of these teachers and non-teaching staff have not had a break, particularly those in the schools that continue to practice the double track system. So the expectation was that this Christmas break would have served as a period for them to reinvigorate, take some rest, and then prepare. And also even prepare the school in terms of its facilities, fumigation, in readiness to receive the new students. So putting all of these factors together, Parliament was of the strong opinion that although the directive had been given, the minister should reconsider postponing the reopening date to the first week of January 2024 to reduce and, if you like, remove the pressure that this is bringing upon parents students, and even the teachers. And I believe that it is a reasonable request. It is our hope that the minister would consider the request made by the representatives of the people. We would have hoped that the minister himself was in the House yesterday. But as you know, because of matters related to the budget and, the fact that the budget was not approved, it is our belief that members of the majority side in protest chose not to come to Parliament for only their leaders to appear. So we didn't have the opportunity of having the minister himself present. But the Speaker, in his commentary, had indicated that other avenues would be used to try and get the attention of the Speaker, and that the decision of Parliament would also be publicized, with the hope that the publication would catch the attention of the minister as he's being invited on Monday to brief the House on this matter and the way forward, but to also then ginger perhaps an immediate, postponement of the date announced. So we wait to see whether the minister is going to respond in kind or he would stick by the date he has announced, and then we will get to hear from him the justification he will have to proffer to the August House on Monday.
I see. You mentioned the issue about finding resources. I mean, to take the children to school and to keep them there. But the ministry's view is that you don't have a problem with that because there's free SHS and food and other things, are already catered for. So that really shouldn't be a problem. So if it's about feeding and resources to keep them in school, that has already been sorted by government.
Well, that is not true. First of all, when the PRO spoke about the supply of textbooks, what he failed to say was that the government has only taken the responsibility of providing core textbooks. So the elective textbooks are procured by parents. And usually the elective subjects are more than the core subjects. As a member of the Education Committee and as a member of the Public Accounts Committee, I can tell you that even within the context of government supplying the core textbooks, there are challenges. The core textbooks are not being supplied the way that we are being told, where every student gets a core textbook depending on your level. We know that older students who had access to some of those core textbooks have graduated and taken those textbooks away. And those textbooks are no longer available in the schools, which then makes it difficult for newer, younger students to get access to the textbooks.
But if they graduate and take the books away when they are not supposed to do so, that's a failing of the school, because we've all been to school. Before you go through what we call the clearance. So the clearance, before you are cleared, the school must make sure that you do not have any school property with you. In this case, like a textbook, so that the next batch could also use it. So if this happens, I'm not sure if it's across the board, but that'll be the failing of the school.
The point I'm making is that it is not all rosy. It is the point I'm making. Whether it is the responsibility of the school to ensure that the textbooks are not taken away or not, clearly does not ameliorate the challenges that the new students are going to face. Is the point I'm making. So the books are not there. They are not there for use by the new students. And the point I also made was that government only provides core textbooks. The elective textbooks are procured by parents. So when the PRO seeks to suggest that cost on the parents has been lessened and mentions textbook, it is important to indicate that that is a bit disingenuous. He ought to have completed the entire narrative. Again, there are other challenges. You cannot assume that because you have a harmonized prospectus and you claim that, unlike previously, where certain schools gave prospectus that will require parents to expend in excess of 4,000, 5,000, if that has been harmonized, and you are suggesting that perhaps 300 or 400 will be sufficient, every parent has the capacity to be able to raise 300 in this short period of time to send their work to school. I have parents in my constituency whose annual disposable income is not even 100 Ghana cedis. I know that for a fact. as a member of parliament. And given the current economic conditions, we cannot take for granted the challenges that parents will face. Also factoring in the season in which we are. And you mentioned about food. Food continues to be a challenge. We know that there have been challenges in terms of the quantity and quality of food. We know of instances where certain schools have been supplied expired food items, others have been given only one staple food, and we know of stories where old boys and girls and sometimes parents have had to move in to try and supplement, and in many instances even pay for persons living in the jurisdiction where their wards go to school to cook meals to feed them. All of these are factors that we can debate, but we cannot overlook the challenges and the pressure that parents are facing given the time that has been indicated as the reporting and resumption date for our wards to go to school.
Very well. I'm grateful for your time. We see how Monday looks like, or how things happen on Monday on both the Parliament's front and the school's front. But I've also come across some message that you authored. You titled it "The Agony of Rice Farmers in the Bosa South Constituency," and the gravamen of it is that there is a lot of rice that some people failed. I mean, who originally contracted the farmers to package or produce and package for them, and this hasn't happened, or this for some reason the buyers have not been able to pay for them or come for them, and so the rice as we have it is lying there and may go bad, and that the farmers need money to go about their daily business and do other things, and that you are calling on people to come to the aid of those farmers and buy those bags of rice from them. What really is the situation, and how bad is it?
Well, thank you again for giving me the opportunity to now speak to a matter that is of great concern to me as a member of parliament and to rice farmers in the Busa South district or constituency. As many listeners would know, Busa South has some of the biggest rice valleys in the country. I think one of the most recognized is the Gbedembilisi Rice Valley. In fact, it was only yesterday that the chief of Gbedembilisi, who himself is a rice farmer, called to bring my attention to the matter that we are discussing. He made me aware of a company known as Fine Line, which had engaged in many other farmers in the Gbedembilisi Rice Valley, as well as other rice valleys in Busa South. The agreement was that the company would buy the rice when it matures and is harvested. And of course, these companies usually have specifications in terms of the quality of the rice. The agreement was very specific in terms of the quality and the quantity that they expected the farmers to produce. Based on that, the company actually went on to give them branded sacks to bag the rice, which they have done. Unfortunately, the company is yet to meet its obligation to them. And so they have harvested, bagged the rice, and the rice is in the open, and some of the rice bags have deteriorated. The rice is spilling. The rice is left to the mercy of the weather, as well as criminal elements. This has created a lot of trauma and agony, because you must remember that the challenges that farmers had to endure in terms of, the high cost of input, getting tractors to plow, getting the seed, getting pesticides, getting weedicides, engaging labor, getting combined harvesters to harvest, and then to bag the rice with the hope that, the rice will be bought immediately so that they can recoup their investment and then also feed themselves and their families, and then make plans for the next cropping season is in danger. And so it is not just a problem that should concern me and the farmers who are victims, but it should concern all of us as Ghanaians. I mean, you will reckon that one of the issues that has dominated the public discourse is this legislative instrument that is seeking to limit the importation of certain food items, and rice is one of them. So if we think that it is time that we concentrate on local production of food items that we have the comparative advantage of, including rice, and yet at the same time, rice farmers have produced rice and they are not getting buyers, and the state is not also making an effort to try and intervene to salvage this rather precarious situation. How are we going to continue encouraging people and young men and women in particular to take up farming as a lucrative economic venture? It is definitely going to have an impact on our food security if these many bags of rice go waste. It is also going to discourage the farmers from increasing their acreage, and those who may have gone to banks and other financial institutions to take loans to finance their investment to produce this rice that is looking as though it is going to go waste, will be at a loss and will never even engage in farming at the end of the day. I think that is not well as far as the future of this nation is concerned. Government can also intervene. There is no reason why the buffer stock food company cannot go and buy this rice, mill it, and distribute to our secondary schools, which are set to reopen.
Very well. Thanks so much. We hope that your efforts to get them buyers, to maybe perhaps engaging with the buffer stock, etc., to ensure that these bags of rice are bought will see the light of day. Thanks so much, Clement Apak, Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee of Parliament and Member of Parliament for the Bosa South constituency. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. A number of your messages have been coming through. Let me just take a few. Lawal in Mankrasu Kumasi says things are really, really difficult these days. Reporting in the first week of January will be the best. This will give all students across the country enough time to acquire their prospectus to put everyone on an equal playing field on schedule, you say. Atimbila Moses in Boku said, did I hear the PRO of the Ministry of Education saying parents don't need to spend high on prospectus? Can he come again? How much do you need to spend on only a student mattress? Indeed, the items on the prospectus will cost a parent more than 2,000 cedis, you say. I think the Education Ministry should listen to Parliament for the reopening of the SHS, want to give ample time to parents and to adequately prepare. This one, BB in of K says, Salom, transportation from Accra to Pusiga in and out will cost 700 to 800 cedis if the child is going without a parent. Repeating after Xmas will mean double this amount. It's not easy for parents, so nobody should downplay the severity of the issue at all. A lot of your messages are still coming through, and you can keep sending them through via WhatsApp number 0549986996. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll do some more things. And remember, the New Patriotic Party goes to the polls tomorrow to elect parliamentary candidates in areas without sitting MPs. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, what a nice move towards the cashier.
Yep, you can trust my wife for that when she's using my Access Bank Visa card.
Oh, look at that. Too much swag.
Her swiping is impeccable, especially when Access Bank Visa cards are offering up to 40% discount.
Aha, I see where her confidence is coming from. A 40% discount. That's something. What is she paying for?
It's a spa moment.
Get an Access prepaid, debit, or credit Visa card. Transact and enjoy up to 40% discount when you shop at your favorite retail outlets or Access Bank loyalty partners. Your Access Visa cards can be used for local or international transactions. Access Bank, more than banking.
Mommy, please, let's go. Hey, why are you taking the whole family? You've forgotten I said I was coming here today?
Forgive me, but we are all headed to Royal Senchi for Christmas.
But it's not Christmas yet.
Shit. Christmas has started early at the Royal Senchi. From now till 21st of December, you can book a room for 2 people at a promo rate of 1,500 cedis on bed-only basis.
You're joking. 1,500 cedis for a room at the plush Royal Senchi? Let me call my husband now.
Call 0244 958 822 or 0303 409 180 or send an email to reservations@theroyalsenchi.com. Terms and conditions apply. The Royal Senchi, your luxury riverside escape.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You all come back. Now, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Korte, has charged farmers to desist from the abuse of fertilizers and chemicals to speed up the maturity of farm produce and development of animals. The minister says such practices are contributing to a reduction in the life expectancy amongst the populace. Speaking at the regional edition of the 39th National Farmers' Day celebration under the theme, Delivering Smart Solutions for Sustainable Food Security and Resilience, Henry Korte advised Ghanaians to patronize local foods.
Mine osani akachufanshu akwadu no nechu. Mine osani ke ohon mutulu no ke dai awomi. Ni mutulu achu.
Why do we spray chemicals on banana to get it ready for the market? Why should you adulterate palm oil? I plead with all to desist from such acts. I also urge the people to patronize our local food.
Henry Korte is Greater Accra Regional Minister. Now, still on the Farmers' Day celebration, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, has promised to bring back the joy of farming and revolutionize the agricultural sector in the next administration. He also assured that the next NDC administration will prioritize the welfare of farmers while working to ensure that they are well resourced. According to him, his administration will also create more opportunities for all farmers in the country. In a Facebook post, the former president wrote, "Our farmers are the backbone of our economy, and we will continue to invest in their success," he noted. Now, the leadership of the NDC has also been speaking on the Farmers' Day celebration. Well, they have been congratulating Ghanaian farmers and fishermen on the occasion, and they indicate that the country owes a great deal of gratitude to the gallant farmers and fishers who continue to give of their best to feed and sustain the nation. Here are excerpts of that statement.
The leadership and entire membership of the National Democratic Congress wishes to congratulate the hard-working farmers and fishers of Ghana on the occasion of the celebration of this year's National Farmers' Day. Our country owes a great deal of gratitude to our gallant farmers and fishers who continue to give of their best to feed and sustain the nation despite numerous challenges they are faced with. Sadly, the living conditions of many Ghanaian farmers and fisherfolk continue to deteriorate due to the aggressive and poorly implemented policies of the failed Akufo-Addo-Bawumia NPP government.
So that was Charles Owusukumi from the City Newsroom, bringing us excerpts of that statement by the National Democratic Congress on the National Farmers' Day celebration.
Now let's do some MPP news now. The party is set to conduct its extraordinary constituency delegates conference tomorrow, December 2, 2023, to elect parliamentary candidates for the 2024 general elections. In constituencies, the party has no members of parliament, often referred to as orphan constituencies. The party says the elections in Ketu North and Akachi North in the Volta region, Yilo Krobo in the eastern region, Jomoro in the western region, Formina in Ashanti, and Boku Central in the upper east region have been put on hold. The NPP says protocols have been formulated to ensure the integrity and fairness of the electoral process. The 8th Director of Elections, Evans Nimako, joins me on the line to help us appreciate how ready the party is for tomorrow. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Before that, happy Farmers Day to you. The party goes to conference tomorrow to elect candidates in the orphan constituency. How prepared are you for tomorrow?
Thank you and good evening. And I must say a big congratulations to our gallant farmers. I think we would have gone straight to conduct our orphan constituency delegate conference in constituencies we do not have certain members of parliament today. But because it had been arranged and the respect we have and the kind of commendations we accord to our farmers, the party National Executive Committee opted to have our conferences conducted tomorrow, which is 2nd of December 2023. I must say that the party is set and ready to conduct a very successful conference in these constituencies. And all things are underway. We've had extensive conversation with the Electoral Commission, the Ghana Police Service, and communication with our parliamentary candidates across these constituencies have been concluded, and we are expecting to have a very successful conference tomorrow. Before you called, I heard the news, the statement of the NDC. I must say that we are not surprised. We expect nothing more than what they've communicated. But I can assure you that all things being equal, come December 2024, the New Patriotic Party will go into elections and win majority of the seats in Parliament as well as the presidential election.
I see. Because you're referring to the NDC's message to the farmers. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Oh, but I thought you could let that one slide because it's a family message that people.
It will not, because the NDC, the good people of Ghana have seen NDC and they've seen Mr. Jomahama.
And they've seen MPP and they've seen Nanado and they've seen Baumia. So I think it's a good opportunity to compare and vote.
We can put down the balance sheet. And Mr. Mahama must not behave as if he's never been on the seat as the president of Ghana. In fact, the relationship he had with the good people of Ghana, the fiduciary relationship, he has destroyed it. And so the good people of Ghana are not going to go back to him. And I can assure you that when we are done with our certain members of parliament primaries, where we have gotten all candidates across the 276 constituencies, the MPP is going into that election very focused, determined, and I can assure you that majority of the 80 million registered voters will vote for His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Baumia.
Very well.
Majority of the candidates.
Very well. So leave that decision for the Ghanaian people. And of course, I appreciate the expression of your optimism. And the NDC has also expressed some optimism. So December 7. It's just about 1 year and a few days away.
It will be a showdown. It will be. And you all live to see.
It will be a showdown. But in respect of the parliamentary contest, I mean, there's often this thing about people showing the ballot to the cameras or taking pictures of who they voted for whatever reason. What is the party's position on that one in this particular election?
The party is not ready to countenance any behavior that is untoward. And so I can assure you that the caliber of people going to the election and the delegates to participate in this exercise, none of them will give you the opportunity to give an account of people showing their place of vote cast. I can assure you that for what we've done, the discussions we've engage all key stakeholders, i.e. the Electoral Commission, the Police Service, our polling station executive, electoral area coordinators, constituency executive, council of elders and patrons. We will not give anybody the news of people voting and showing their their place of voting.
But in case it happens, what would you do? What would the party do?
I can assure you that we've gone through elections. The last time we conducted the elections was an election that saw almost 200,000 people across the party rank and file voting for the presidential candidate to lead the party for elections 2024. And we never experienced it. So I can assure you that this is not what the party is going to experience tomorrow for places where we are voting for our parliamentary candidate in these of our constituencies. The party is certain, and we can also assure the rank and file and the general public that the 1992 constitution, the party constitution, the guidelines, the protocols issued by the general secretary are going to be respected by all stakeholders. And come tomorrow, we are going to have a very smooth, successful constituency delegate conference that will elect for us our parliamentary candidate in this constituency.
Another phenomenon that some people have spoken against has to do with this thing we call camping. So that, some of the candidates camp the delegates and only release them, at the 11th hour. So they are marched to go and vote and go their way. What's the party position on that one too?
The party has directed that this is a constituency delegate conference. Hitherto would have been a sitting where the constituency chairman will open conference and all other things the constituency party's constitution would have directed, i.e., a report from the general party secretary at the constituency, a report from the national constituency chairman. But all these have been shelved. So tomorrow's conference is going to be a walking exercise where delegates will move into the voting center, be identified either by their Ghana card, the party ID, or the voter ID. And so it is not going to be an exercise that will entertain conversation from prospective candidates or the constituency chairman or the constituency treasurer or the constituency secretary. So issue of campaign is neither here nor there. People who are delegates to the conference are going to walk into the conference center, have their issues checked or details checked by the Electoral Commission. Electoral Commission has been given registered delegate list. Same has been furnished to the delegates, to candidates, and when you approach the checkpoint as delegate to the conference, you'll be processed, and when you have done this, you can have the opportunity to cast the vote. Voting will start at 7 a.m. and ends at 2 p.m. When voting has ended, the EC will go through the formality, count the ballot, assign vote obtained by all candidates, and declare the result there and there.
I see. So I didn't quite get an answer to the question though, because the issue of camping. So, for example, this evening, maybe in some constituencies, a candidate has camped the delegates, and we'll bus them to the place, get them to vote, and that's it. And they get whatever they have to get. And some candidates have complained about that in the past, that it doesn't augur well for democracy, etc., etc. That's what I actually wanted your view on, or what the party position was or is on.
People are entitled to express these kinds of opinion, but as we speak, there's no such petition before the general secretary or before me to advance the argument that delegates are being camped. And I mentioned to you that this is a working constituency delegate conference at the constituency center, where polling station executives will move from their community to the voting center, electoral coordinators will move, constituency executives will move. So issue of campaign may be people's own imagination and hypothesis they will express. But for us as New Patriotic Party, it is a working exercise, and we've seen it before, not too long ago. We conducted our presidential primaries that took the same form, we are expecting to have a very successful constituency delegate conference.
Very well. Thank you so much, Evans.
My pleasure.
Director of Elections for the New Patriotic Party, for speaking to us about tomorrow's exercise. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. It's now time for Citi Business News. But before that, we'll take this short break and return.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know your papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
It's time for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan. Make that big move and dream a reality. I am Akosi Aoche. Let's settle for details of our stories now. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has shut down suggestions that processes for the release of the second tranche of Ghana's $3 billion bailout package has hit a snag due to stalled engagements with its external creditors. All this comes on the back of claims by the minority in Parliament that negotiations to unlock Ghana's next $600 million under the credit facility have hit a deadlock. But the IMF insists the discussions with the external creditors are still ongoing and will pave the next disbursement once a consensus is reached as Ghana targets $10.5 billion. Now, reacting to developments, economist Professor John Gachi urged the government to expedite efforts in reaching an agreement, emphasizing the urgency of the situation.
We don't have a luxury of time. As long as the terms of the proposed debt reschedule is not comfortable for the creditors, it will continue to delay. So that is the underlying fact. You are a debtor proposing to your creditors to consider you. You have put in certain things you want them to do for you. If they are comfortable with it, within a short period of time, that would have been approved, that would have been agreed upon. If it is not comfortable, you don't think that it reflects your interest in the long term, you would not agree. So that is where we are. So if the terms are favorable, the agreement will be as short as possible. If the terms are not favorable, the agreement will linger on.
Professor John Gachi is an economist. Now, away from the IMF, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, has reiterated calls for the Bank of Ghana and other relevant government agencies to address challenges regarding the depreciation of the Ghana cedi. All this comes also as the chamber anticipates reduction in fuel prices in the first and second pricing windows of December. In an interview with Citi Business News, head of research and training at COPEC, Paul Eric Ofori, noted that with Forex playing a critical role in determining a fuel pricing, it is crucial for the Bank of Ghana and government to adopt policies to ensure stability of the cedi.
The first pricing window, yes, we will see a bit of a fall in prices at the pumps, but not what we are expecting, that drastic change or fall in the price of fuel. However, going into the second pricing window, where most organizations have done their importations, and so there will be some semblance of the cedi stabilizing.
Paul Eric Ofori is the head of research and training at the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC. Now, ZPay Ghana Limited has begun discussions with the Bank of Ghana to resolve the suspension of its forex license. Last week, the central bank temporarily suspended the forex license of ZPay Ghana for use of the average interbank exchange rate published by the Ghana Association of Banks and the Bank of Ghana for the conversion of settlement funds into the local currency. ZPay was also fined for the violation. But in a statement, ZPay said talks are ongoing to address the issue while assuring the general public of strictly complying with all regulatory guidelines. It remains in business because its general operational license remains intact. Finally, Africans are being encouraged to explore technology and Bitcoin to accelerate its economic growth. All this, according to digital trading platforms on the African Bitcoin Conference, will drive the new change that will inspire financial empowerment for the continent. Speaking during the second edition of the African Bitcoin Conference in Accra, the convener of the conference, Farida Naburema, noted that Bitcoin creates a level playing field for Africans.
The beautiful thing about Bitcoin is that it is a bottom-up technology. It is not a top-bottom technology, meaning the adoption of Bitcoin has been genuine since the beginning and has been led at all levels by the grassroots. It is the people that adopt Bitcoin because Bitcoin works for them. People do not wait for government to solve problems because on this continent we've been independent for almost 6 years. And over the past 60 years, it seems we have been going backwards when you look at our economics and the quality of life of our citizens. We will have a continent of 54 countries and 46 currencies. You want to send money from Ghana to Togo, where you can actually drive cross-border within minutes. It could take up to 2 weeks for the bank account in Togo to be credited. Why? Because the Bank of Ghana will have to send the money to an intermediary bank in London. Then that bank in London will send the money to an intermediary bank in France. Then the bank in France will have to send the money back to Togo, which doesn't make sense. We operate on a colonial financial system that was built at a time where Africa was less than 200 million people. And today we are a continent of 1.2 billion people. The needs have risen, but the governments have not been able to solution the problem that citizens are facing.
Farida Nabrema is convener of the African Bitcoin Conference. Well, that's it for City Business News and Eyewitness News. It was brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Bank, a personal loan. Make that big move and dream a reality. I am Akusi Archie. Do stay with us. Up next is Point Blank.
Hello, Linda! You won't believe what I am planning next. I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and build my dream home. But you know what's stopping me?
What's that, Mike?
Money, that be my biggest wahala.
Oh, you are sorted, Cry. With a GCB Big Move personal loan promo, you can borrow up to a whopping 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours.
Like, seriously? How do I qualify?
Yes, it's available to all GCB salary account holders. Plus, you get a 2-month grace period before you start to pay back.
Susket, I'm opening an account with GCB now.
Get a personal loan of up to 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours. Call 0800-422-422 or visit your nearest GCB branch today to fund your next big move as we celebrate 70 years of greatness. T's and C's apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
And his rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy.
Can't touch this.
Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panza.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Parliament by members of Parliament who are raising concerns with the proposed date for fresh students to report to school on Monday, December 4, 2023. Earlier in the program, we spoke to the ministry and an MP, Honorable Apak. But this really is what transpired on the floor of Parliament. Take a listen.
That's why it released the results of the 2023 Basic Education Certificate Examination, BEC. Consequently, yesterday, the Ministry of Education released placement of some of the successful candidates and directed that these students resume school on Monday, 4th December 2023. Mr. Speaker, parents are yet to get the required materials and items that they need to buy for their awards. Also, there are a lot of placements that need to be remedied because of the fact that some of the candidates have been placed in schools outside the regions they reside. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, a few weeks ago, teacher unions have requested that there was the need for the GES, that's the Ghana Education Service, to grant them enough time to rest at the end of this year. Truth be told, Mr. Speaker, that since the introduction of the double-track system in 2018, both teaching and non-teaching staff in the senior high schools have not taken any rest. This is seriously affecting their health. It is therefore necessary to allow them some rest during this break to the end of the year. Mr. Speaker, many of the students will be traveling from far to their various schools and will only have to go back home 2 weeks after resumption for the Christmas break. It is therefore only appropriate that to avoid the risks and dangers associated with traveling during that festive period, that GES should reconsider their decisions of making students report on Monday, the 4th of December, for the first week of January 2024, to enable parents prepare financially for their awards and also the teachers to take some rest. And finally, for the school authorities to fumigate the dormitories and other facilities in readiness to accept the first-year students.
Mr. Speaker, I think that any fair-minded Ghanaian would agree with this appeal. I believe many of us here have received calls, messages from parents and teachers with regards to this directive. The Speaker, besides the logistical challenges narrated by the maker of the statement, Mr. Speaker, we ought not to forget the times that we are in, given the current state of the Ghanaian economy and the fact that most Ghanaians are struggling to survive. To require of parents to prepare their awards in such a very short period of time after their results had been published and placements made is most unfair. It's most unfair. I see no reason why the ministry and the Ghana Education Service should be in such a rush that these kids should go to school on the 4th. They will have to break for Christmas and then go back to school again. I just believe that this directive ought to be reversed. Let's be fair to ourselves. Let's be fair to parents. Let's be fair to the teachers. And let's get it right. It is not going to cause any irreparable harm to us as a nation and to the teachers and the students if this directive is reversed, and to allow for ample time for parents to prepare their awards, for the teachers to get some rest so that teaching and learning would be effective.
Mr. Speaker, this statement is so crucial, and I salute you, Mr. Speaker, for promptly admitting this statement. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, all the teacher unions are up in arms. They are thoroughly, absolutely, and clearly, Mr. Speaker, opposed to this directive by the minister responsible for education. In their own words, this directive is going to totally throw the academic calendar into disarray. There is going to be confusion, chaos, and they are not even psychologically prepared. They have not rested. I heard the teacher union say that they have not even rested and prepared adequately for this new academic year with the freshers who, Mr. Speaker, are still being placed. We are all receiving calls from constituents about the placements. The first batch was done only yesterday, and they are not done with the placements. There are still a number of students, a considerable number, who have not been placed, running into thousands from what we hear. And Mr. Speaker, the point must also be stressed that a good number of these secondary schools are far afield in other regions where these teenagers have never been to. They have to be accompanied, their parents must prepare. So even in addition to the logistical arrangements, you know, shopping for them, going to secure the prospectus, and then making sure you are able to buy the items on the prospectus. You must make time to accompany your children or your wards to these schools. Imagine you live in Northton and you have gained admission, or you have been placed, say, in Wesley Girls, or in Tamale Secondary, or in Notre Dame, or Wa Senior High. Look at the distance. Mr. Speaker, all of this is supposed to be done this weekend. I mean, just 3 days, you know, and they say that they want to resume academic work on Monday. And Mr. Speaker, as the ranking member has said, this rush they are going there to have only 2 weeks of academic work. I mean, we all know that when schools reopen, students arrive, they must do orientation, which takes some days. So really, it's just about a week of academic work. And Mr. Speaker, I must add, very importantly, that for those of us in the VRA-induced floods affected constituencies, we have, as we speak, displaced persons in these secondary schools. In my constituency, Mefes and Kizito Senior High Technical School is the biggest displaced camp. We have 1,500 displaced persons there. That's the NADMO record. The displaced persons have not been relocated. They have not been resettled anywhere. So how do you expect people who are posted to Mefes and Kizito to be accommodated? It's practically impossible. So this directive does not take into consideration a lot of factors. If my colleague from Central Town was here, Adidome Secondary School is affected. It's also a displaced camp. I don't know how they are going to cope. You know, so one wonders really what is happening at the Ministry of Education. And the minister ought to know because he came round, he came to my constituency and was at the Mefes and Kizito, displaced camp. The Director General of the Ghana Education Service was there only a couple of weeks ago. I went on the tour with him. He saw things for himself, and he knows that secondary school is not ready for academic work to begin. So what really is going on? I mean, we are all at a loss, Mr. Speaker. And I will appeal to you respectfully and very humbly, Mr. Speaker, that the Honorable Minister of Education should be summoned here on Monday. He should appear before Parliament and he should explain to this House why this directive should not be reversed. We need your urgent intervention. Parents are counting on us. Teachers are counting on us. The students themselves are counting on us. There's too much chaos. And they have to really, stabilize the academic calendar. It's not only about this issue, but I mean, there have been times that people are on their way to school, then in the middle of their journey, there is a new directive that go back home with change. I mean, I wonder which sector is working in this country. I've never seen anything like this. So, Mr. Speaker, we really cannot, just watch on and see such a crucial sector. We are talking about the human resource of our country, the future generation, the people who will take over from us. We cannot be treating them this way. So, Mr. Speaker, we need your really urgent intervention. The Honorable Minister of Education must be summoned. He must come to this House and prove to us why he should not reverse that decision. Because, Mr. Speaker, this cannot be allowed to stand.
Academic calendars should always be predictable and organized. When you have a very predictable and organized academic calendar, it does not only inure to the benefit of the teachers, but parents and the students as well. Because then the parents are able to schedule their own planning and budgeting. Then they will be able to know those who are working and have to visit their children, their wards in schools outside their jurisdiction, will also plan their holidays at work so that they can organize themselves very well to go. Mr. Speaker, in the economic circumstances we find ourselves now, this is not a time to put anybody under stress because we are already stressed, if not beyond stressed. The pressure that parents are putting on us, members of Parliament, so enormous. Even though there is this generic prospectus, there are so many other things that parents will have to acquire.
Unique to schools.
And Mr. Speaker, assuming you have 20 students in your constituency going to school, you buy trunk, chobos, mattress, all these. Some of them we even have to add provisions. And between this period, sitting here, I've not seen anything showing that I've been paid my salary. So I'm wondering if somebody is going to school on Monday, how I will be able to support that parent who has come to me. 2, yesterday teacher unions were here in this house. So much under stress, the teacher unions, saying that looking at the calendar, the children are just going to spend just 2 weeks, 4 days on campus. And they think that it is not adequate enough for them to be able to prepare these children to be able to adapt to the new environment they find themselves, let alone to start good academic work. Mr. Speaker, what we are talking about here is about the future of our children. I've seen many children, otherwise brilliant students, who do not conform or adapt well to academic environment in their secondary schools become very bad. They may be excellent students, but when they get to the campus and they find the environment intimidating, they are not able to psychologically adapt well, it takes them a long time to be able to fit in. And looking at the erratic calendar we have, if you have such a situation and you are not able to nurture those children well, it will affect them at the end of their course. I will plead, just as all my other colleagues have said, that the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education sit down with their counseling department or counseling unit to look at how we can structure the calendar in such a way that parents and guardians will have the time to be able to psychologically prepare their children before they leave to school. Mr. Speaker, some of these children, as Honorable Kujitu said, are going to travel to certain places they've never been before. Some of them, their parents may not even, looking at the time, may not even have the opportunity because they are workers to leave their workplace, seek permission from their superiors to travel with the children to where they will be placed.
Thoughts from the floor of Parliament in respect of the reopening date. Or the reporting date for SHS1 students. The minister is due in Parliament on Monday to respond to some of these questions. But in the meantime, the ministry says the 4th December reporting date still stands. This is how we conclude today's edition of Eyewitness News. Show produced by Beverly in London. Earlier you heard Akosia Ochri. Make a day with me tomorrow at 9 o'clock for the big issue. And also, the whole day tomorrow, we'll be bringing you our coverage of the MPP conference. My name is Salom Adunu. Up next is Sports Panorama. Benjamin Ketia and the squad. Have a good evening.